The Breakdown, POLI-TRICKS, with Mercer Prescott and his band of eclectic cronies, telling you what you need to know regarding politics, breaking it down, POLI-TRICKS.
You get the gist of it. Today is the date, August 21st, 2017, and this is another episode of POLI-TRICKS with Mercer Prescott and his band of eclectic cronies.
All right, we're just gonna jump right into it. Today we're gonna do something a little bit different today, because I had a lot of stuff I wanted to try and get done today. So I'm gonna go into my main story first. And then after that, try and get as many quick hits done as I can before the hour's up. Okay.
All right, bet.
All right. And it's really not that much of a main story like that, but it's just something that it just won't die. It just keeps coming back around and it just will not die. Right? I've been seeing a lot of blind optimism lately. You know, and I call it blind optimism because people are just basing this on absolutely nothing. Like, I watch a lot of Young Turks. They're one of my favorite political programs, you know. And Cenk Uygur is just very, very optimistic that Trump is going to be impeached. If not in the next month, maybe in the next couple of months. You know, I don't see it, but, you know, fingers crossed. I saw Michael Moore on television talking about how the Democrats are going to, you know, do a clean sweep. He didn't use those exact words, but he thinks they're going to take over the House and the Senate after 2018. Even Paul Ryan was kind of like just bracing himself for a Democratic takeover. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. They're all wrong. Every last one of them is wrong. Okay? Democrats will lose in 2018. They'll get obliterated in 2020. And when that happens, democracy will die with it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mercer, you're a jackass. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. You say this over and over and over again. What are you basing this on? Well, I'll tell you. And don't get me wrong. I would love to be wrong. I would love for the Democrats to take over in 2018 and have the inbox flooded with "I told you so's" of people saying, "See, you don't know what you talk about, dumbass." Democrats are back in power, but they're not going to be. Not at all. Let me ask you, Blue. What have you been hearing about the Democrats' chances in 2018 and 2020?
When you just mentioned it, that's the first time I heard any positive thing about the Democrats getting any foot back into power.
Yeah, I've been hearing.
I'm going to have to decide that even though, you know, I consider the Young Turks to be a very, very good program, they're wrong on that point.
Yeah, I've been hearing it a lot lately. And even Michael Moore, who pretty much predicted Trump, is basically just like, yeah, Democrats going to take over. And I'm like, I don't see it at all. And it has nothing to do with political ideology. When I say political ideology, I mean, it has nothing to do, well, that's the problem. They don't really have a political ideology. That's the reason why they're going to lose. You can't just say, the other guy is shitty, vote for me. You have to have something to offer. And right now, Democrats have nothing to offer at all. You know? And I know I've been beating this dead horse back to life, but I'll tell you why I feel that way. Number one, Hillary Clinton will not go away. Holy Jesus, for the love of God, Hillary, go away. It's like that villain in the TV show. Like, yeah, didn't he die in season 1? Why is he back in season 2? Die! Not really die, but just just go away. And because Hillary wrote a book, like, trying to talk about why she lost. And the book has nothing to do with her shit campaign or her not campaigning in the Rust Belt states or anything like that. You know, basically just everyone else's fault but mine. No one wants to hear that shit. You know? And it's a bad sign, because usually when politicians write books like that, it means that they're getting ready to run again. Oh, Jesus Christ, Hillary, don't run again. But Hillary is the least of their problems. So you got, I mean, this has been a common theme for more than a decade, but the Democrats just have no spine, no killer instinct. Right now, the Republicans are face down in the water. And the Democrats should be holding their head under until the bubbles start coming up less and less frequently. They need to finish them off, and they can't. They're just so spineless. You got Bernie, you got Elizabeth Warren, you got Al Franken. Yeah. Oh, and then you got Nita Turner, you know. Yeah, who else is there? Cory Booker. Cory Booker, let me tell you about Cory Booker. Cory Booker is such a whore. I'm surprised that his office doesn't have a pole in it and a little stage. And the lobbyists come into his office and start throwing dollar bills at him and just start shaking his ass. Paper cuts in his ass and all the dollar bills they shove in there. They don't really have that many rising stars when you really think about it. Oh, Joe Kennedy. He's another one, another rising star, I should say. You know, but I could count on one hand the amount of Democrats who I would vote for. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. And it's not because the other Democrats don't have good ideologies. Well, that is the reason. I just keep answering my own questions. That's the exact reason. It's basically they just stand around until somebody supports them with big money, and then they just go with that person. Like, let me ask you, Blue, can you name at least, aside from the ones that I mentioned, right, what other Democrats would you vote for? I'm just talking about for office, not even for president. I'm talking about for office.
Not many come to mind. You know, Bernie, of course. I'll vote for Bill again. I'll vote for Obama again.
God, I wish. For all his flaws, he's still the best president of my lifetime by a lot. You know, for all of his political flaws. And there's never going to be a president that doesn't have political flaws. So there's no one that's going to be perfect, ideological or otherwise. No one's going to be perfect. But you just can't be a sack of shit. And just because you have a D next to your name, I'm going to vote for you. But here's my real reason why they're going to lose, right? And this is just a microcosm of what's going on. In New York is supposed to be a mecca of liberal politics, right? Of progressive politics. There are 8 members in the legislature, New York legislature. They call themselves the IDC, which is the Independent Democratic Council. So New York Daily News broke the story a few days ago, right? And this is from the New York Daily News. They said a primer for those still in the bubble. The IDC is a group of 8 breakaway Democrats in the state Senate who formed a power-sharing agreement with Republicans and Brooklyn Senator Simcha Felder 5 years ago. Get this, for helping maintain an effective Republican majority in the state Senate, the IDC members get additional funds for their campaign as well as lucrative committee chairmanships. Did you get that? To get stuff for themselves and their campaigns, they're willing to have it. What they mean by power sharing agreement basically just means we're just going to side with the Republicans. So what that means is any progressive bills are not coming up for a vote. So that whole thing about New York getting single payer health care, you can kiss that shit goodbye. That's never coming for a vote, so long as those 8 Democrats are in power and shifting. So basically, New York technically has a Democratic majority, but because of these 8 Democrats shaking their asses for that money, it's basically now a Republican state. So you tell me, and Governor Cuomo is supposed to go national, yeah, he's not going anywhere. Because if you think that they're going to keep the lid on this when he tries to run for higher office, and they're going to remember that he could have reined these cats in and didn't, do you think that he's going to, either, let's just say he actually even makes it, how far is he going to get when he betrayed his entire base? When you can't be trusted, you know, it's mind-boggling. And these people are not even trying to hide it. It's just all out in the open. So it's not like they're just like, all right, well, we're doing this in secret. It's all out in the open. That these Democrats are basically shitting on their base. Even with the minimum wage going up to $15 an hour in New York, it's still really real in New York. You know, it's still really expensive. So yeah, that $15 an hour is going to lift some people out of poverty, but it's still going to be a stretch to live with any sort of comfort. And a long way, what would have gone a long way to making that comfort level happen is single-payer health care. And they're not going to get it because 8 Democrats decided that they want to shake their ass for that money. And they think that when people see stuff like that, they're going to vote Democrat in 2018 or vote Democrat in 2020 if you have somebody backed by the establishment? No. Because if they were capable of winning these elections, they would have won in 2016 against the most beatable person in the world. Blue, do you ever watch South Park? Oh, he's jumping back and forth here. But back years ago...
Yeah, I watched South Park.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, as you were saying, I think South Park, but mainly because of those episodes of The Simpsons.
Yeah. Now, you remember an episode where, back when it used to be funny, you remember an episode where Cartman tried to win the Special Olympics?
No, I ain't watched it like that. I thought it was a racist, sexist show that I just couldn't feed into by giving them ratings.
Right. I used to mess with it for a few years. I thought it was funny for a while. But there was an episode where Cartman tried to win the Special Olympics, right? So he goes through this whole transformation and to make himself look like he's mentally challenged and tries to get into the Special Olympics, and then finds out that, yeah, even though these kids are mentally challenged, they're still athletes. Cartman's not an athlete. So even though he was in the Special Olympics, he lost every event by a lot. That's kind of like the Democrats. In those leaked emails, the Democrats wanted Trump to win because the DNC, not Democrats, just the DNC, let's clear that up, because they figured Trump would just be the most beatable opponent. And while Hillary did win the popular vote, that doesn't mean anything. It's like losing a beauty contest, and they're just like, yeah, well, Miss Hawaii is prettier, yeah, but she still didn't win because Miss Kentucky beat her out because she aced the essay contest or whatever it was, you know. So the Democrats are pathetic right now. They're just absolutely pathetic. They can't leave their donors alone. The reason why Andrew Cuomo is still not rating in the IDC is because so long as the IDC exists, it benefits Cuomo because it benefits his donors and it benefits his centrist voters. But being a centrist is basically Republican light. Why? And I've heard this said before, and I agree with it. Why would I vote for Republican light when I could just vote Republican? It's like saying, you know, I can get a pair of fake Timberland boots, or I could just spend a couple extra bucks and buy actual Timberland boots. You know, California's going through the same thing. California and New York were supposed to be on the cusp of getting single payer, getting it through an exploratory committee and getting it in the works, right? Between California and New York, you're talking about almost a quarter, I should say, of the nation's population lives in either California or New York. So if California and New York got single payer, it would have been insane, and the rest of the country would have fell like dominoes. But no, California, same thing. There's a, I forget exactly what his position was, but he pretty much held the key to bringing up single payer for a vote, and he won't bring it up for a vote, even though he's a Democrat. Why? Because he's getting a ton of money from the medical insurance company. I mean, the medical insurance lobby, sorry. He's getting a ton of money from them. And he's a Democrat. So when you see Democrat, you're just like, oh my God, they're on my side. No, they're not. It's kind of like finding out that Superman is an alcoholic. Or that the Hulk beats women. You know, you figure these supposed to be your heroes, they got your back, and they're just as ugly as the people that they fight against. They're going to lose because the progressives ain't voting for these cats. I got into an online beef in one of my chat rooms where I was literally called a Bernie or bust loon. And basically they were like, well, you know, you being such a child, why do we have to coddle you? Here's my thing. Yeah, you kind of do have to coddle us, because if you're laying this defeat, you know, of Trump becoming president, if you're laying this at our feet and saying it's our fault, don't you feel that you have to appease us a little bit to get us to vote for you? And some people say, well, now Trump's president, it's your fault. Well, not really. Okay, a little bit, yeah, but not really. Like I said before, 9% of registered Democrats voted for Trump. 9%. So you figure more than 60 million people voted on each side. So you figure 9% of registered Democrats voted for Trump. But they never mention that. They only mention the people who didn't vote. They don't have a message. They don't have anything to stand behind. They're going to get their asses handed to them in 2018. And then they're going to be back on the forums blaming the Bernie or bust crowd, instead of looking in the mirror at the true reason why they're going to lose. And it's going to be absolutely freaking pathetic. I never thought I'd be alive for the end of America, but I just may. I just may see it. Don't want to see it, but I just may see it. And it's going to be absolutely horrendous. What do you think, Blue? Am I being too overdramatic about this? Am I taking this too far?
Maybe just a little bit, but not so much, because you make a valid point. And, you know, much like Hillary lost because she didn't have a definitive message which resonated with the people, the Democrats are voiceless as well because they don't have a message to resonate with the people. Remember, even if Trump's message was simple, red hat, make America great again, you know, the red identifies his gang, and make America great again is a great slogan, except there's one problem with that. I cannot think of any definitive time that was really great in America.
Yeah, you're right about that. I always get on about these ultra patriots, you know, who are like, you know, they get on Kaepernick and they're like, yo, you gotta respect the flag. The flag is a piece of cloth. It's a colorful piece of cloth. A lot of them are made in China. Okay, the national anthem is a song, like any other song. Okay. What makes the flag and the anthem powerful is the pride that you have in your country. That's what makes you want to stand up at the national anthem, face the flag, and put your hand on your heart. If you're not feeling that, and I don't mean like the way a teenage girl is not feeling some boy who's kicking it to her. I'm talking about you're looking at the news and every day cops are getting away with murder. Okay, politicians are stealing people's pensions, and no one's doing shit about it. You really feel like you want to stand up and put your hand on your heart and face the flag and sing the anthem? No, let's do that shit. You know, because the country's not doing things that makes you proud. People may. So there are people out there who are doing wonderful things, but on a whole, as a country, nah, not really. Not at all. So, but that's all I had on that part of it. I know, I apologize. I'm beating a dead horse back to life. But when I read that thing in the Daily News about the IDC, and I'm from New York, you know, and it just kind of hurts. Like, we're supposed to be the mecca of progressive politics, and 8 people are just turning that into a nightmare. But speaking of nightmares, I read today. I actually had to push this to the top of my quick hits today. The Secret Service is running out of money. Right? Because they have to follow Trump and his goofy-ass family around, you know, all these places. Trump is on vacation every week at Mar-a-Lago or one of his other resorts. The Secret Service is running out of money. Right? So they won't have enough money to operate. And then what's Trump going to do? You know, he basically charges the Secret Service, like when they're in New York, to stay at his hotels. So it's not even like we're spending that money. That money's going in Trump's pocket. Now, I know a lot of people, you know, especially a lot of Republicans are like, well, America needs to be run like a business. Yeah, but not like Trump's business. The man went bankrupt 6 times. One of the funniest things I heard was on The Simpsons, where Homer Simpson was like, he was like, Trump went bankrupt 6 times. That's 2 more than I've gone bankrupt. He's like, I can't vote for a man who has more bankruptcies than me. But yet they want the country run like a business. Let me ask you, what business have you seen run where someone doesn't get hurt? Even Amazon. I love Amazon. I order from them all the time. Matter of fact, as soon as I get off this the broadcast today, I'm gonna order another pair of these headphones because I found out they still make them. I can get a good used pair that has, you know, well, an older pair, but it hasn't been used for half of what I paid for them in the beginning. But even Amazon, they have their issues with the way they treat their workers. You know, Walmart is basically paid slavery. You know, there are very few businesses like, God, who's Walmart's enemy? Not Target. God, I forget. I'm drawing a blank here, but
Costco.
There are some. Yes, thank you, Costco. They pay their people way more than Walmart, and still make just as much of a profit as Walmart. So it can be done easily, but it's just that ultra greed that's catching them out there, you know? Even Disney's had their problems, but on a much smaller scale, mostly with their part-time workers. Like, their full-time workers are set. Their part-time workers, yeah, there was some issues, but it's not really anything worth, you know, it's nowhere close to that Walmart level. But when you talk about running a country like a business, and then you talk about Donald Trump, the man who thought that Trump steaks were a good idea. Blue, would you buy steaks online?
Well, I'm a vegan, so I wouldn't eat steaks anyway.
Even if it was like soy burgers, would you buy them from the Sharper Image online?
I don't like soy anything. I defer from soy. But I get your point. No, I would not buy it online. I would go to Whole Foods.
Yeah, you go to an actual store and buy meat. I'm not buying meat online. Now, granted, I thought that banking online was about the same as voodoo, and I do all my banking online now, but there's a difference between money and steak. I'm not buying steak online. And then it's going to come in a cooler? Like, what the hell's the matter with this guy? Trump the board game? He tried to make his own vodka, tried to have his own airline. He bought a mortgage company right when the housing bubble burst. Like, this guy has no business sense. But if he wasn't born with hundreds of millions of dollars, he'd be broke by now. Normal people fail in business all the time. But those people don't go around and call themselves like the best businessmen who ever lived. But you figure if Trump was running it like a business, he would have known, hey, we're hemorrhaging money with the Secret Service all the time. And pretty soon, we're not going to have any more money. It's just about September. The fiscal year doesn't start again until October. So if they run out of money completely, what are they going to do? We think they're going to work for free? They work for coupons? Hell no. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. George Bush was president for 8 years, right? Took more vacations, well, pre-Trump era. Took the most vacations of any president before Trump, and was never in danger of running out of money for the Secret Service. Trump's been president for 7 months. Secret Service is just about out of money. Absolutely ridiculous. But there are some people who just stand by Trump no matter what. Did you watch the jumping with my clumsy segue? Did you watch the Kennedy Center honors?
I did not. Why would I watch that?
Oh, it was kind of interesting. I didn't watch it either because I don't have cable. But there was some interesting people who were being honored. Hold on. LL Cool J was being honored. Gloria Estefan, Lionel Richie, Norman Lear. I did not know Norman Lear was still alive. So if the name sounds familiar, he produced a lot of shows in the 70s and 80s. He produced The Jeffersons, All in the Family, stuff like that. It was people who I was kind of like, I like Gloria Estefan. I'm a big LL Cool J fan, so it would have been nice if I had cable to see them being honored. But there were some people who were going to boycott if Trump showed up. And don't forget, this is right after the whole Ku Klux Klan thing. So Trump and Melania decided to skip it. And I actually thought that for once. And some people got on him for it. That's the best thing he could have done. And I don't know if doing it, he's doing it to be classy or doing it because he didn't want to get booed. But the fact that he did it, that worked. I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he didn't show, And I didn't just throw mud on him. I just figured he didn't go. That's a good move. That's it. Move on. So it's funny that when Trump does something classy, he does it by accident. It's like he's never thinking, I'm going to do this because it's classy. Nope. Totally by accident. So. But, I will say one thing that didn't happen by accident. Blue, of course you know who Alex Jones is, right?
Yes, of course I do.
Yeah. The insane conspiracy theorist guy. Let me ask you, okay? Let's say you're walking down the street, right? Mm-hmm. And you see Alex Jones, and Alex Jones comes up to you, and he's talking, his normal crazy talk like he talks on the show, right? And he doesn't just walk up to you and be like, excuse me, sir, we have cameras rolling here. I just want to get your opinion on something. He just comes straight at you, with his normal gruff, like, did you know that they're putting stuff in the water to make the frogs gay? Did you know that? Are you part of that? Huh? And he's like in your face. Like, how would you handle that?
Well, you must have never seen me, because that would never happen.
well, here's the thing. It kind of happened in Seattle. So Alex Jones decided to go to, in all places, Seattle. It's like a liberal mecca. They hate Alex Jones in Seattle. So he goes to Seattle, and he's basically just running down the street yelling to people, about, drinking water turning the frogs gay, and the globalists, and the goblins. He actually mentioned the goblins. I'm not making that up, and just being a jackass. And one person flipped him off, and he literally ran across the street to get in the guy's face. Like, yeah, you want to flip me off to my face? And of course he flipped him off again. But the funniest part of his little tirade was he's going on and on about the globalists and the goblins and stuff like that. And one guy called him trash. He's like, yeah, you're trash. So Alex Jones gets in the guy's face. The guy's holding a thermos, right? And the guy was like, "Oh, you want to call me names?" He's like, "Yeah. Let the people know who you are intellectually." And the guy just goes, "I'm your mama." And he was like, "Yeah, well, you know what you are?" He said, "You're a slave to the system." And the guy takes his thermos, opens up, and just splashes it right in Alex Jones's face on camera, right? And then he starts to walk away, and Alex Jones is, yelling at him, and he was like, "You know what?" I was like, "I can't stay. I have to go to work and get more coffee." And Alex Jones walks away, and he's just like, "See, that's what they're all about," But my thing is this: if you're on the street, if you're a correspondent on the street, right? Like you see it on shows all the time, like what's his name, Seth Meyers, or God, I'm drawing blanks today. Or like Stephen Colbert or something like that, right? And people have correspondents who will walk in the street and ask people questions. They just walk up to they'll just walk up to you like, "Hey, sir, do you have a moment? We got the cameras here. We just want to ask you a couple of questions." They don't just run up to you, shove a mic in your face, and just start yelling about goblins. So my question to Alex Jones is, what in the hell did you think was going to happen? If you run up on somebody, with your fist balled up, he's lucky all he got thrown in his face was coffee. He's lucky someone didn't knock his jaw loose. So, and usually if you walk up to somebody like that and you want to put him on television, right, they make you sign a waiver. Because they can take pictures of you on the street if like for stock photos and stuff like that. But if they're going to put you on TV for their show, you need to sign a waiver. They got to sign you off on that. So if they come up to you, Blue, on the street and they ask you an actual question, right? They have to actually give you a waiver to sign so they could use what you say on television.
I don't know if that's true. I mean, look how many times newscasters just stop random people. I don't remember, and I've been stopped a couple of times. I don't remember signing anything for a newscast.
Really? And maybe it's different with the news because it's just the news. But I know for entertainment stuff, like I always see people all the time saying, like if
yeah, you might be right. It might be for profit, since it's being used for profit. Maybe they have to sign up on that.
I remember Barry Bonds got a lot of guff because he wanted somebody came up to him and they wanted to sign an autograph. And he refused to sign an autograph, but then turned around and asked him, "Hey, will you sign a waiver so I could have you on my documentary or whatever it was?" And the guy was like, "No." Well, you won't even sign a baseball for me, So I imagine that for, I may need to find out how that works, like for the news, because I know for entertainment stuff you have to sign a waiver to, for them to use your stuff. Because like sometimes when they use some of the stuff, they may have people blurred out in the background if they figure prominently if they didn't sign a waiver. So, but I was wondering what Alex Jones was thinking was going to happen. I don't know what these people think about put it like this: you're talking about a man so insane that he got his kids taken away from him because he's talking about drinking water making the frogs gay and half shark, alligator, half man, and all this other goofy stuff he talks about in the show. He got his kids taken from him in a messy public court case. So I have no idea what's going on or what he was thinking, but it was funny watching the coffee thrown in his face. Luckily, he wasn't hurt. Like the coffee wasn't like old school McDonald's coffee where it was like 200 degrees. So luckily that didn't happen. I mean, as much as I hate Alex Jones, I don't want to see him ever get hurt. But that was kind of funny. But I did mention Colin Kaepernick briefly, and there was a rally in New York a couple of days ago with police, New York City police, and they were literally taking a knee for Colin Kaepernick. They were on his side, supporting his protest against police brutality. And I rag on cops all the time, and I never, and my thing is this: when they have like a cop, like doing some actual community policing, like I never posted, and it's not fair at all. But I guess I grew up in a household where it's like, I can't walk up to my father like, Dad, I took the trash out. Yeah, that's great, son. Go to bed, because you're supposed to take the trash out. You know, like cops do have that double standard where if they do something good, yeah, great. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you get paid to do. Is something good, right? So I admit that is unfair, that I do talk about the bad and not enough of the good with the cops. But in this case, there was a rally, and the cops were wearing T-shirts, and I think it said I'm with Cap or standing with Cap or something like that. It had like a hashtag on it. And they had this rally in support of Colin Kaepernick, and they said, yeah, he's being blackballed by the NFL because he's standing up for people's rights. And even Frank Serpico, he's like 80 years old, and even he came back to New York for the rally. So what do you think about that, Blue? Do you think that sends a, you know, do you think that more police departments should stand with Kaepernick, or?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of, I mean, in a way, I don't really think it matters, because I think that the media focuses too much on the bad and not enough on, of course, why focus on the good? Like you said, that's the baseline. That's what you're supposed to be doing. I think that, you know, it's funny how his jersey is the number one selling jersey out of NFL jerseys. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's weird, you know. You got people in the sports world who, you know, even somebody like LeBron James, right, who does speak up on social issues. And when he speaks up on social issues, people tell him to shut up and play basketball. Mm-hmm. That was literally his Twitter feed when he spoke about Charlottesville. People on somebody had posted a bunch of the replies on his Twitter feed, and they were literally like, "Shut up and play basketball. Just stick to what you're good at." Like, he's not even a human being. He's just a wind-up monkey that you just twist a little key in his back and he just dribbles a basketball and just dunks it. Like he's not supposed to have. He's not a human being who doesn't see what's going on in the world.
But
you talk about a man who had the N-word, you know, sprayed on his house. He's not supposed to notice that. He's supposed to be like, well, you know, I don't really see color. Yeah, okay. Keep thinking that. I hate when people say, I don't see color. Really? How do you
not
drive?
Black, I'm OJ. I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay.
Exactly. When people say it, it just makes my blood boil. I don't see color. Really? What are you, a dog? Colorblind? Like, how do you not see color? It shouldn't matter your color, but to say that there's not color. You know, one of the reasons why, I know I'm going off on a weird tangent here, but as I say often, you know, my little piece of hip-hop history, I saw Boogie Down Productions beat up PM Dawn at T-Money's birthday party at a club in, I think it was in Manhattan. And if you remember T-Money, he was like that off member of, Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. He would come on sometimes. It was his birthday party, and he had a lot of people there. And, of course, you know, they got beat up by Boogie Down Productions. One of the reasons why PM Dawn got beat up, well, the main reason, really, is because PM Dawn, Prince B, you know, rest in peace. You know, he passed away, I think, last year or the year before. He was in a magazine article saying, he says, KRS-One is a teacher, but a teacher of what? He said Chuck D makes mountains out of molehills. And he was like, well, calling each other black or white is stupid. And he got beat up for that. He was like, Chuck D makes mountains out of molehills? The fuck are you talking about? You know, no one likes that stupid stuff. So But going back to Kaepernick, I do think it's a good thing. I wish more police would get involved with that, because one of the biggest complaints about police is that they don't, when people say, well, that's just the bad cops. Well, why don't the good cops say anything? Well, half the reason why is because it's not just bad cops, it's a bad system. So when the good cops do speak up, they get punished for it. And a lot of people don't really see that. And it just proves a point that there is more bad cops and good cops. I heard Jimmy Dore say, not all cops are psychopaths, but a lot of psychopaths are attracted to being police officers. It's a dream job for psychopaths. Oh, I get a gun and a badge and authority? Where do I sign up? My friend made a point. He said, all the assholes we went to high school with are cops now. That's not a coincidence. So, but I hope more cops come forward, and I hope that, well, not with this Justice Department. That's never going to happen. But push a national agenda for community policing, because community policing works. I'm not going to say that no one's ever going to get shot, but those numbers are going to go down by a lot if we go to community policing and not having cops out there in the street like Don Knotts, shakiest guy in the West. What, me? Every time somebody moves, after you tell them to move, they're just like, hey, pulling out their guns for any little reason. Come on. We don't need that at all. So kudos to the New York City Police Department. And Cap, even if you never find another job with the NFL, I wish you all the best, brother. And had one more thing today. Taylor Swift. And I know this is a weird turn, how we get from Kaepernick to Taylor Swift. I was a little bit mad at Taylor Swift today. Well, a couple of days ago. She won a court case, right? Where she was at a meet and greet back in 2013. And it was hosted by some DJ. And the DJ groped her. And they actually had a picture of it, of the DJ like grabbing her butt. And she won her court case, right? The DJ had to pay $1 million in damages to Taylor Swift. Now, the fact that she won and won $1 million, that's not why I was a little bit upset. But afterwards, Taylor Swift said, I want to thank my legal team for helping me with this victory. And it was like something along the lines of, like, it's a victory for women everywhere who've been sexually assaulted, and kind of give them a voice and stuff like that. And I was just like, yeah, see, the woman who got raped by Brock Turner, that was your problem. Your problem was you're not Taylor Swift. If you were Taylor Swift, then Brock Turner would have gotten 7 years in prison. And that would have been the end of that. But you're not Taylor Swift. That's why he only got 3 months. See? The moral of the story is, ladies, be Taylor Swift. And if you get sexually harassed or raped, you will win. It's just that simple. I mean, if Taylor Swift really wanted to hurt this guy, she shouldn't have sued him. She should have just wrote a song about him. That would have been painful enough right there. And I know that's a low blow, because I know Taylor Swift is only trying to help. But when you're a pop icon, a pop megastar, I mean, Taylor Swift sells tens of millions of records. Okay, she's a pop icon. How could she not win? It was a guaranteed win, especially when they had a picture of the DJ groping her. There are a lot of women who are raped, beaten, sexually assaulted, and they don't have a legal team to handle this sort of thing. A lot of them are too terrified to come forward because the person who assaulted them is way more powerful than them, not just physically, but in stature. Around town, they may be well liked in their town. You may have the judge who gave Brock Turner that lenient sentence was like, how could this kid be a rapist? Look at his swim times. His swim times are amazing. I think that while Taylor Swift's statement was her heart was in the right place, but I think she was just out of touch. And these women don't not come forward, just because they have other shit to do. They don't come forward because they don't have a legal team. Lawyers are expensive. What do you think, Blue? Am I not giving Taylor Swift a fair shake here?
Nah, I think you're right on the money. Don't know what they have to do with POLI-TRICKS, but who am I?
I know that's more of a social issue, but it was just something that just kind of caught my eye, because you figure, even in the case of somebody like Dennis Hastert, hopefully I have his name right. I don't want to paint the wrong person as a rapist. When he raped all those boys, right? You figure he was paying them to keep them quiet. And you figure when he got caught, it wasn't because of the actual rapes of the boys. It was because he was using government money to keep them quiet. That's huge, Huge that because a lot of those rapes happened so long ago, it passed the statute of limitations. But you figure if you're a young man and you get raped by a politician who has other politicians circle the wagon around them, what are you supposed to do? Take the hush money and just keep it moving, I guess. Maybe if you take the money and stuff it under your pillow, it'll help ease the nightmares. And that's not a crack on the boys. It's just the fact that their options are limited when you have to go up against somebody powerful. And that's why the whole Taylor Swift thing just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I know her heart's in the right place, but she's just out of touch. So, and I know it doesn't have to do a lot to do with politics, but, it's still, it just something that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way on that, And I asked, and I put that question up on Facebook, and one of my friends told me something that I didn't know about the case. Taylor Swift didn't sue the DJ for $1 million. She sued him for $1. Because, of course, Taylor Swift is a megastar and doesn't need the money. So she sued him for $1. When she won her case, the jury awarded her $1 million. So she had no control over that. So I just wanted to put that out there just so you don't think that Taylor Swift was like suing people for $1 million. She sued him for $1. He just wanted him to pay for what he did. So. Well, we got a few minutes left, Blue. So what's on your mind? What's on your radar?
Oh, nothing. Just, I wrote a song about it called Backstabbers, Backstabbers. So, you live in some very, very interesting times, you know what I mean? But, like I said before, people are like, oh no, Trump. Well, the one thing I can say is that I'm more woke now than I've ever been woke. More woke than Obama era, more woke than the Clinton era. This is the most woke I think America, Black Americans, Latino Americans, whatever, has been ever.
Yep. I do agree. And it can work. It can work well for certain parties, and it can work not so well for certain parties. You figure you have certain parties who, like Republicans, usually when you're on recess, you have town halls in order to get the mood of the people, find out what's on their minds. And they're not having them because the people are too woke. So they're asking them, they have teenagers kicking their asses in town halls because they don't know how to answer them, because it's just too easy to get that information. Back in the 80s, I didn't know how to find out someone's voting record. Now you just go on Senate.gov and just pull up a politician and their entire voting record is right there. It's too easy now. And especially with millennials, they're always involved in politics now. I heard something today that made me laugh. Did you go out and check out the eclipse?
I did.
Yeah. I work from home. I was on the phones, and it didn't for us, it didn't get dark. I heard it got dark in South Carolina. And some of my friends are posting some pictures from other sides of North Carolina where it actually looked like it got dark. But it got a little dim out here in Cary, but it didn't get dark.
Yeah, it got real dark, maybe the kind of dark that we get around maybe 8:30 here in Durham, North Carolina. I've seen a lot of people being unsafe regarding how they were viewing it. I even seen number 45 look at it without having appropriate eye care, but I hope that was just a meme and not real life.
No, it was real life. And the only reason why I say that, because normally I would just say, well, they just took that picture out of context. But no, it was on the cover of the Daily News. It probably hit there for their evening edition, and they had, a Trump staring at the eclipse with no glasses on, and his aides supposedly were yelling at him like, "Don't look at it." President dumbass. I mean, when you don't read books, that sort of thing will happen. And I was reading articles, they were like, if you stare at an eclipse like that for like up to 20 seconds, it can do permanent damage to your eyesight. Put it like this. The article I read, they said you could stare at the sun and do that type of damage to your eyes anyway. But the problem is, because the sun's so bright, you're going to look at the sun for like 2-3 seconds and be like, oh, and look away because it's too strong. But with an eclipse, like a lunar eclipse, well, I should say solar eclipse, sorry, you don't feel that pain right away, and it allows you to look at it longer and do more damage to your eyes. But one of the things they said about millennials is that a lot of millennials are not turning toward religion. I know you're a religious person, me not so much. And I tell my friends all the time, I'm like, because one of my friends I grew up with, he's Lutheran. He's, deeply religious. He's down with his church and all that other good stuff. And I tell him, I'm like, y'all need better representatives out there online. Because your online representatives and the cast on TV, they're the reason why millennials don't want to become religious. So there was some guy out there, and I thought I saved the article, but I did not. He's some religious figure. He was actually saying that the eclipse happened because of 8 years of Obama. I'm not making that up to be funny. We take the whole thanks Obama thing, as a joke now. Whereas like, oh, there was a mudslide in Africa. Thanks Obama. We take that to a whole new level. But the fact that some religious figure got on TV and actually said that an eclipse happened because of 8 years of Obama, it's the stupidest fucking thing I've heard this week. And it's only Monday. And people hear that, and they're just like, oh, is that what religion is all about? People being afraid of the sun? Psh, I got better things to do with my time. I got to save up and buy some avocado toast or some shit, Then they wonder why less and less young people turn toward religion. So, it's just absolutely crazy. But what are your closing thoughts today?
Stay woke.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Stay woke.
I will tell you, I became more woke when George Bush was president. Bush Jr., that is.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for quite a while, but I didn't really get deep into politics until...
Well, that concludes this episode of POLI-TRICKS with Mercer Prescott and his band of Eclectic Chronies. Tune in via Google Play Podcasts, iTunes Podcasts, and TuneIn Podcasts via the Alexa app.
You felt so perfect as you dripped from your lips or the surface. My fingers slipped up and down, the sides of it, both touched off the top. Their taste still lingers on my upper lip. The fragrance alone makes me want to take another sip. Roses are red, but I wish they smelled like this. The feelings of your warm coral around my lips. My tongue tied, then zigzag. Your finish came with a twist. So turned on from sucking on your lips. Each kiss, teasing it now. We're both so slick. Followed it with another slowly. As I notice, I love the feeling of this. And it's the moments like this that makes me want to permanently address an issue such as this. For easier access, I'll seal it with a kiss. Lock you in a room with candles all around, all over. Body massaged by the hot tub. Shadows of a kiss outlined by candlelight. You like that? I want to wrap you in my arms and let my love for you take flight. Oh yeah, you like that? I want my hands and my kisses to stalk the back of your spine. It feels so good. I want to lock eyes with you while our bodies intertwine. I want the moonlight to shine through a window and coat our naked skin. I want to physically express my feelings that I held for you deep within. I want to make love to you and let one tear form in one eye. Let the joy and happiness overwhelm us, compelling us to cry. I want this dream of having you for a night to come true. And this is the best way I can express my feelings. And I wonder if you want to. Call this one slow burn. I danced with the sun, but it didn't burn me. I sat on the edge of the world, but it didn't turn me. I challenged death and loss, but still life didn't spurn me. Visionary thoughts get tangled and caught between my balance of disparities. I seek the symmetries within the structure of my foundation. But there's a nation of multiple identities, possibly my worst enemies, battling me for dominion over converse opinions. Actually, I could care less who wins, cause periodically I spin intricate webs of antonyms. For, against, relaxed, tense, offense, defense, ignorance, intelligence. Contrary to what I think and feel, my thoughts congeal into coagulated contemplations, while speculations reveal the opposite of my intellect's explanations. Far beyond my yesterdays. In retrospect, I double check, fast forwarding through my tomorrows. I'm trying to avoid the hands of time slapping me on my face, holding back crocodile tears, drowning in cataclysmic sorrows. Regrettably, I say one thing, but then I do another. Breathing life into existence, though I endeavor not to smother. The creativity and gifts wait them within me, but in reality, I'm just too tired. You see, one of my multiple identities recently expired. May he rest in peace. He died from a lack of understanding, a naive child, impulsive, and oftentimes hella demanding. I mourn for him knowing that he's in a better place. His ashes float in masses, scattered into outer space. With Control-Alt-Delete, I erase his existence. At the insistence of my nation of identities, while gradually I release fragments of my insanity, join the ranks of millennium humanity, evolving like the elusive butterfly out of its cocoon. I fly high, touch stars in the sky, by the light of the silvery moon. Indeed, my metamorphosis is the birth of a new identity for the light of the sun. endlessly burns cognizance and consciousness right into me. Slow burn.